Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be right back with this week's tech guest, but as always, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. These are all companies that I used as an AD. They're all great companies. You should be using them too. So take the next 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our Tech Tuesday guest, and then go and visit these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We want to thank Home Campus for their support. Scheduling rosters, results, their athletic clearance and eligibility platform alone is a game changer. You're going to use Home Campus every day. To find out how, just go to homecampus.com. Tell them you heard about it on the podcast. That's homecampus.com. We also want to thank Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to their website, schedule a live web demo to see their products in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that live web demo today. We also want to say thank you to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years. As an AD, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com. Join the 8 million users. Turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to thank SnapRaise. If you've ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and been disappointed in the results, I'm telling you, those days are over. Go to snapraise.com. We used it at our school with tremendous success, and so will you. Check out all their other great features. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it, and it's SnapRaise. We also want to say thank you to Gipper. Let the team at Gipper turn you into a social media marketing expert. Whether it's a simple social media post to celebrate a win or an entire newsletter, the team at Gipper is going to have you up and running in no time. Your colors, your graphics, your logos, it's all easy to use. Go to Gipper.com to get started. We also want to thank Hometown. Hometown continues to change the game for ADs with their platform on digital ticketing, website construction, fee-free fundraising. Whether you're a principal or an AD, Hometown's going to show you how to save time, how to raise more money, and how to bring your community together. Go to hometown.com to get started, and don't forget to tell them about the podcast. We also would like to thank Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to show off your school record boards or your school's Hall of Fame, go to their website. Take a look at their interactive touch screen. That's right, touch screen video consoles. You put one of these units in your gym lobby or your main school hallway, it's going to be a magnet for kids, for coaches. How about sponsors? Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. We'd also like to thank Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Not only earn your master's degree in an affordable online setting, you'll also complete 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. And let's say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. At my school, we use surveys for everything, for student athletes, for coaches, how about parents. And the information that came back was almost always over the top positive, and it'll be the same for you. Having that data is incredibly valuable, especially when you're visiting with a frustrated parent, maybe your principal, or even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. And as always, tell them you heard about it on the podcast. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast. Regular listeners certainly know that we love to give our sponsors a shout out during these segments, along with some other great tech developments for athletic directors. Remember, as an athletic director, I used every single one of these sponsors, and very excited today. Our good friends from Home Campus are back, specifically Kenny Yamamoto. Home Campus is a tremendous platform. You hear me talk about it every episode, but Kenny, welcome back to Tech Tuesday and the Educational AD Podcast.
Hey, Jay, thank you so much for having us back.
Now, again, you guys have been with us almost since the very beginning, And even before the podcast, I was using the platform as an athletic director in Florida. You're the official athletic management system for a number of states. You also do tons of individual schools across the country. And I'm going to make that point now, but we're also going to make it later. If you're a listener and let's say your state is using another platform, that's fine. You can still be a home campus school. And Kenny's going to share some of the advantages of how that might work for you. But first, Kenny, we always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. Give us your quick bio. Where'd you grow up? What's your connection with sports? And how'd you get started with home campus?
For sure. I grew up in South Orange County. I went to San Clemente High School in beautiful San Clemente, California. I was a two-letter athlete in swimming and water polo, and I was lucky enough to continue my career at the University of Pacific in both sports, which is pretty rare to be able to get to compete in two sports. So I was able to do both. Um, I've been coaching in the area. I'm kind of a turncoat. I went to a rival high school, and I've been coaching at Dana Hills High School for 10 years now. This year, I've just picked up the girls water polo program as well. So I'm now coaching boys and girls water polo at the high school level, as well as coaching for a local club called Orange County Water Polo.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Now, what was your discipline when you were a competitive swimmer? I'm going to guess maybe sprints. And
Oh, I
did that
wish.
transfer well to water polo, or was it opposite? Were you an endurance swimmer?
I would, unfortunately for me, I was not a sprinter. I was technically what you consider mid distance. And I did like the 400 IM and the 100, 200 back. But I was not a sprinter.
Not a sprinter. All right. Um, you mentioned that you just recently picked up coaching girls. I know you've had tremendous success as a coach. Are the rules the same? Like, basketball, basically the rules are same, men
Mhm.
and women. Lacrosse, it's almost like a completely different game. What's water polo like? Is it the same game for men and women?
So the rules are technically the same, but the nuances are completely different. It's a different kind of physicality. The women's game, I think you tend to see more grabbing and holding, whereas the men's game, there's still a fair amount of it, but I think the women's game really relies on that kind of physicality for success. There's a lot more opportunity to cheat without being caught, which is, how a lot of people are really successful in the sport of water polo. So yeah, I'm eager to learn some of these nuances because they certainly don't exist in the men's game.
Wow, that's surprising, I guess, because yeah, I think at least for me, and again, as an AD, I was never at a school that had water polo. I was at one school that had a very successful swim program, but we didn't have water polo. But the things I've heard, I guess more at the Olympic level, collegiate level for men's water polo, it's just very physical, sometimes a bloody game.
Yeah.
It surprises me you'd say that about the girls' game.
I would say the men's game is physical, borderlining violent, where you're probably going to be kicked or hit more. And the women's game, at least from what I've seen, again, I'm definitely not an expert in the women's game, but there's a lot more holding, grabbing. There's just so much more suit to grab to help you gain position or gain an advantage.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Well, we're gonna have to do a segment on water polo down the road. Let's go and talk about home campus. Now, again, I'm retired. I'm out of the game, but I was able to be a part of from a participatory. I certainly didn't develop any of this. Um, position as an AD in that transition of how technology really changed the game for athletic directors. I was there with, as a young teacher, mimeograph sheets, cranking them out, and carbon paper and manila folders and staples and Xerox copies to now, things are digital and it's much faster, incredibly faster through platforms like Home Campus. for somebody who might be new to this part of the AD technology, why don't you share briefly, what are some of the primary features of home campus? How can it help an athletic director do their job better?
Absolutely. So we are partners with the California Interscholastic Federation, the Florida High School Athletic Association. So we're their primary website services. And so they're going to do everything through us. That includes everything from scheduling, rostering, handling things like transfers and eligibility documents. Um, those are all going to be handled online. Now, for our users that don't belong to those organizations, we have solutions to help you guys schedule, share your schedules, still roster your athletes, clear your coaches, injury tracking for athletic trainers. And then most recently, we've come out with a solution for athletic websites that communicates directly with what you input into your home campus accounts.
Yeah, and again, I really can't emphasize the time saved, or I guess you could say time gained factor of using the platform. I remember when we first signed up, and again, you were the provider for our state association, the Florida High School Athletic Association, but in working, with you, and I remember working directly with you, we granted you access to our student database, names, addresses, emails, phone numbers, parents, you had all of that and you populated our home campus site. And so now it was literally, whether you want to say drag and drop or click, just so easy to populate rosters. Um, you know, the GPA aspect was there, the physicals, uploading physicals with a click so that that date is there. And then as an AD, you're getting a notification as soon as you want it. I think I did it 30 days. Billy's physical is going to expire in 30 days. You could let that parent know, and you could also have it set up so they could get that notification as well. Just tremendous, tremendous time saver. And I remember the few years before I retired, I was uh, literally discarding, shredding those um,
Paper packets.
stacks and stacks of paper physicals that we were no longer, required to keep, but we still had the electronic record of it. It was just tremendous. And I know I'm not an isolated case. Everybody else talks about all the time gained from the platform. What's something I'm leaving out that is another way that AEDs get that time back?
I think our newest feature, which is the athletic websites, it takes everything you've input onto your home campus website, so your rosters, your schedules, and anytime you make an update on your home campus, that update's going to be live on your website. So, for example, if I have a game today at 5 o'clock, it gets rescheduled because of rain or it gets rescheduled because of officiating problems. If you go make the change on your home campus, you refresh your website, or anybody who comes to the website after that is going to see the new time. And so you're only inputting your data into one spot. You don't need to go change the website, change it on home campus, change it on your website, change it on your home campus calendar. You change it in one spot and it's going to trickle down and affect everything.
And I remember this, and I know you've talked about it too, is that home campus, um, I guess I'm searching for the right word, has compatibility with a number of other platforms. For example, in Florida, Max Preps is part of our whole football
Yep.
scheduling, scores, rankings system. But when you make that change on your website, it's automatically done on home campus. It's automatically done on Max Preps. You're not jumping back and forth between platforms.
Yeah, exactly. In California, we also accept some data from Arbiter. And we have some one-offs where we share information through an API for individual schools. And that is a feature that we also offer as well. If you wanted to share data in your CIF home or your home campus onto a different third party, we offer that tool as well for you guys to be able to share your information.
Yeah, and again, each state probably has some subtle differences, but For Florida, you're familiar with, we require our, for every student athlete, there has to be a current physical, a
Mhm.
hard copy physical that gets scanned and uploaded. But there's also through our state association, I think they might be up to four now. There used to only be three. Additional, permission forms or parent authorization forms in a couple of different areas. Those have to be uploaded for each student to before they can be marked eligible for participation. Talk a little bit about that process. How do you help, say, new ADs, new schools incorporate that? What have you seen? You've done this for years now. What's kind of the learning curve for that new AD that gets hired and they might be new to home campus too? How do you help that AD along?
Yeah, so with our athletic clearance feature, we're going to collect everything that you guys need. There will still be some data entry on your part to kind of fulfill those requirements set by the FHSAA. But as part of the athletic clearance process, you're going to digitally sign your school requirements as well as the EL3, which is the document that you were talking about. They're going to digitally sign that, and your signature date's automatically going to be applied. Um, We'll have upload slots for the EL2. I think that ECG is going to be a new requirement in Florida as well. And so we're going to provide upload slots for you guys to be able to upload those documents. You guys will still have to make sure that the document is valid by providing the completion date for the physical. I'm not 100% sure how the ECG is going to work yet because that feature hasn't been built, but it will be in anticipation of the 26-27 year. And you're going to be able to see everything that the FHSAA requires for the athlete. And then if any of those data points are invalid, it's going to change the color of the student from green to red. And
Right.
it's going to put an exclamation mark so you'll know why the student is not valid or not cleared to compete without some kind of update made, whether that's a birthday issue, the EL2 or EL3 being too old, um, any of those things, the GPA being too low, it's going to tell you why your student might not be valid to compete.
Yeah, and again, what you just explained, that changing from eligible to ineligible with that red, their names highlighted in red. I would see that for an athlete, and I'm going, wait a minute, this kid should be eligible. And usually it was, I had entered something wrong, or they were missing something. But the I want to emphasize this for the listeners: the customer service um, factor, if you will, from athletic from home campus is just literally off the charts. When that would come up, a kid's marked ineligible, and I'm pulling my hair out trying to figure out what's going on. I would literally email Kenny, and usually, I'm not exaggerating, usually within an hour, sometimes within 10 minutes, I've got a response. Hey, Jake, this was wrong, or we did this, or you did that, and it's taken care of. And you can let that coach know that the roster they've submitted, that they're trying to confirm that it is legal, it's ready to go. You can submit that to the state if it's something for playoffs. The customer service is again off the charts for home campus.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we take so much pride in working not just with ADs, but with coaches, administrators across like the state associations, and then even like parents, students, and people who use like our end product like athletic clearance. We take a lot of pride in working with them to help make sure that our software is easy for you guys to use, and you guys understand everything that's happening in the system. And quick shout out, we've recently grown our team with two new members, and Brett and Andrea, and they've been really great for us, kind of helping us to keep our support for our clients in a timely fashion. And they're doing a great job making sure that we are a client first organization.
Well, I'm going to guess that you're going to be at the NADC conference as always. Can our listeners come by the booth and find out more?
Please, we'd love to meet you. We'd love to hear, what your pain points are with what your day-to-day is. If we have a solution, we'd love to share them for you. And we're always here for good ideas to help grow our product.
You know, talking to those listeners who might who their state might have a different platform, but they're interested maybe in becoming a home campus school. What are some of the I guess what's some of the feedback you've gotten from other ADs in that similar situation? You know, their state is using something else, but
Mhm.
they've come on board as a home campus school. What's some of the feedback you've gotten from them?
I think a lot of it's just people have been surprised with how easy it is, how intuitive it is. We're very fortunate to get a lot of compliments on our customer support as well, where we have like a full team of people who are willing to help out. If there is, let's say a bug, that's something that we can't fix, we report it right away, and hopefully it's resolved, it's resolved as quickly as possible. So I think people are kind of surprised. Unfortunately, we get a lot of feedback about like former providers that aren't quite as responsive, might not be quite as intuitive. And so that's always disappointing to us, but we love to hear that our software is good and our support's nothing like they've experienced before. So I think those are the big points that we tend to hear a lot.
Oh no, I love it. Absolutely. Well, Kenny, if one of our listeners wants to find out more about the platform or, just pick your brain a little bit, what's the best way they can get a hold of Home Campus and Kenny Yamamoto?
Sure, they can always email me directly. My email address is kenny@homecampus.com. We have a phone number, like a team phone number, and that's 562-206-2486. And they can always shoot us an email at our support website, which is just support@homecampus.com.
Well, Kenny, always great to catch up with you. Looking forward to seeing you and the entire team at in Tampa this year. Hopefully, we can get together for dinner and drinks. Who knows? Maybe even some
Yeah,
left, right, center. And
perfect.
safe travels on your way to Florida.
Great. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you.
For listeners, we look forward to seeing you. And just a reminder that we upload the Zoom recordings of every interview to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do Tech Tuesday just about every week and just about every day. We try to share stories and best practices from the world of athletics. So please join us next time on the Educational AD Podcast. Thanks again. Before we go, of course, we want to say thanks to all of our great sponsors, starting with Home Campus, but let's say thanks to Ohio University, Hometown. Go to hometown.com for more information. Athletic Surveys, you find them at athleticsurveys.com. Huddle, as a football coach, I used Huddle. As an AD, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com. Snap Raise, if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it. Go to snapraise.com. Vital Signs Wall of Fame, you'll find them at vitalsignswalloffame.com. Gipper, become a social media marketing genius. Go to gipper.com. And Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.